You have successfully joined the webcast. Please stand by. The meeting will begin shortly. You have successfully joined the webcast. Please stand by. The meeting will begin shortly. You have successfully joined the webcast. Please stand by. The meeting will begin shortly.
Good morning, everyone. This is Debbie Royce, Queens West Development Corporation's Acting Corporate Secretary. I'd like to welcome everyone to this morning's meeting. Before we formally begin, I would ask everyone to please mute your line unless you're speaking. We'll begin today by taking a roll call of the directors to ensure that we have a quorum present on the line. Please be so kind as to say present when you hear your name. Terrence Cho.
Present.
Jonathan Glickman.
Present.
And Matthew Pedersen.
Present.
Thanks all for joining this morning, and Acting Chair Cho, you're ready to begin. Thank you.
Thanks, Debbie. Good morning. Before I call this meeting to order, I will note for the record that I will serve as acting chair for today's meeting. I now call to order the meeting of the directors of the Queens West Development Corporation for Wednesday, March 23rd, 2022. Before we get started, I will also ask that everyone please mute their phone until you're ready to speak. Also, for the record, I will ask that anyone who wishes to speak, please be sure to state your name before you begin. I'd like to further note for the record that in accordance with current legislation, this meeting will be conducted by teleconference. I will also note for the record that the public was given the opportunity to comment on the agenda items by submitting their written comments by 4:30 p.m. yesterday. Finally, I'd like to state for the record that no comments were received from the public concerning today's agenda items. The directors have received the relevant written materials in advance of today's meetings and are free to ask questions at any time. Before we begin with the substantive portion of the meeting, I would like to ask the directors whether anyone has any potential conflict of interest with respect to any of today's agenda items. If so, I would ask that you please make an appropriate disclosure on the record at this time. We will then be sure that you may recuse yourself from any discussion or vote regarding such item. Okay, hearing none, our first order of business is the approval of the minutes of the March 23rd, 2021 directors meeting. The agenda item is the approval of the March 23rd, 2021 directors meeting. I asked from the directors, are there any questions, comments, additions, or deletions?
No. Jonathan Glickman, no.
Matt Pedersen, none.
Okay. If not, I will entertain a motion for approval.
Matt Pedersen, motion to approve.
Thank you. Second?
Second, Jonathan Glickman.
Thank you. All in favor?
Matt Pedersen in favor.
Aye.
Jonathan Glickman in favor.
Terrence Cho, aye. Any opposed? Thank you. The motion carries. I would like to now call on Toby Giacini to present the final item on today's agenda, a request for authorization for the corporation to adopt its operating and capital budgets for fiscal year 2022-2023. Toby, when you're ready.
Thank you, Acting Chair Cho. Good morning. The directors are requested to approve the corporation's 2022-2023 operating budget totaling $100,790, and a capital budget totaling $1,510,000, which is consistent with last year's budget and is reflective of the corporation's commitment for the Park Ranger Station and the 47th Road entrance. Corporation is awaiting follow-up from New York Department of Design and Construction and New York State Parks for the request for those funds. Happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Toby. I'd like to remind everyone to please state your name before speaking. Are there any questions or comments from the directors regarding this item?
This is Matt Pedersen. And it's the same budget, that capital budget, which was dollar amount, which was approved last year. And just for clarification, the funds were not transferred to DDC or New York State Parks last year. That's why they're in the coming year's fiscal budget. Is that correct?
That's correct. That's correct.
Okay, thank you.
And it's Jonathan Glickman. Just to follow on, I see the amount is basically the same as it's been for 4 to 5 years. So does that response hold for all years, that there were no amounts spent?
That's correct. There's both allocations for the Park Ranger Station and also the 47th Road. There's a specific amount that we're committed to, and so we've not expended those funds to either agency.
Okay, thank you. And it's Jonathan Glickman. Just one additional question. I noticed that under the operating budget, the salaries increased, more than in prior years, considerably more than year-over-year CPI. I was just wondering if there's an explanation for that.
I think it might just be the percentage of the staff costs that are being reflected for the subsidiary, but I can follow up with our finance department and provide clarification to the directors.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Hearing no further questions, as noted earlier, we do not have any comments from the public with regard to this item. I will now entertain a motion for approval.
Matt Pedersen, motion to approve.
Thank you. Second?
Jonathan Glickman, seconds.
All in favor? Terrence Cho, aye.
Matt Pedersen, aye.
Jonathan Glickman, aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. The motion carries. There being no further business, may I have a motion to adjourn this meeting?
Matt Pedersen, motion to adjourn.
Jonathan Glickman, second.
Thank you. All in favor? Terrence Cho, aye.
Matt Pedersen, aye.
Jonathan Glickman, aye.
Any opposed? Great. Thank you. Thank you to everyone for participation in today's meeting.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Have a good day, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.